Crowned Heads doesn't do just apparel.
Yeah, right.
They do cigars, or they will as of November 1st. Well, sometime in November.
Actually, we're going into production this month.
Okay.
So,
but yes, this cigar is very creamy and sweet. I like it. It's got a good balance to it, and I know that's what you're looking for.
Always has been. For us, you know, from the first day, we were more interested in something that was balanced and rich and complex and had good volume, good mouthfeel. That was more of what we were looking for, as opposed to just, you know, word, strength and pepper. I thought there was a lot of cigars out there that are already kind of covering that base.
Anything from Pepin.
So, hey, I'll tell you what. I would never say anything bad about Pepin. I think those guys. They were very gracious. They welcomed us into their factory. We spent an afternoon with him and Hyman. And you know, after seeing their factory, I don't think anybody's doing it better in Nicaragua than those guys. They're incredible detail and just the way they process their tobacco and the box factory. I mean, I could go on and on about Pepin.
Sure.
You know, it just wasn't the right fit for us.
Right.
You know, that doesn't mean that they make fantastic cigars.
Oh, absolutely. Scott did tell me that you and Mike Condor had been frequently at Uptowns buying lots and lots of market research.
Yes, true. In fact, I think over the last 6 months, we probably became one of his top 10 customers. I'm sure we spent a good bit of research and development money, but I think that's money well spent. I mean, you got to know what else is out there, what is striking the consumer's palate, what people are smoking and enjoying. If you don't pay any attention to that, then you got your blinders on. You can't do that. And besides that, I'm still a cigar geek. I love smoking cigars, and so I'll never stop buying other brands of stuff that I like, you know, Peach stuff, Dion stuff, some of the new Drew Estate stuff, you know, Elogio, all these. I mean, there's so many great things out there. Yeah. And Ernie stuff, of course. I mean, you know, some of it. I mean, that New Wave Connecticut, I was shocked at how good it was. And this is before we actually decided to go with Ernie. It was like I picked that up and I was blown away. It was the best Connecticut cigar I've ever had.
Jerry had mentioned one of the big trends at the IPCPR show was Connecticut's everywhere. Yeah. Room 101's Connecticut is in the shop downstairs. Haven't had a chance to try it yet, but I will say, if you haven't had the Namakubi yet,
I'm actually having a Namakubi.
Oh, and they are fantastic.
And I will say it is a fantastic cigar. This is a little Papi Chulo size that Mac just gave me, and I'm very impressed.
Yeah, they are excellent cigars.
No, I enjoy it. Like, you know, I have a lot of friends in the industry, and I love keeping tabs on what they're doing and smoking. And I send them direct messages and say, hey, can you send me some of these or whatever? Nice. You know, I'm a geek about it. I really am.
That's what this event was made for too. I mean, there's all these events. You know, Scott did at Uptowns the Fall Cigar Extravaganza last year. You go to some of the other sales events that, you know, you've got the different vendors sitting around with their cigars and they're trying to sell you boxes. They'll give you one, try to sell you a box. You go to Cigar Fest and you run around with tickets trying to grab all your stuff. We tried to do the CHAtweetup more for the company heads and the company reps and the cigar geeks and the bloggers can all come together and just be cigar geeks. Yeah, we can hang out. And, you know, there's no competition between, you know, Alan from Oliva and Zev from Drew Estate and, you know, hey, we're just here to enjoy.
That's really what it's about. That's what drew me to the industry. One of the many reasons that drew me to the industry. But it's that camaraderie that unless you're in it, you don't really understand it. You know, to me, like, cigars have always been like the common denominator. Yeah. You know, you could be a doctor and this guy could be a road worker or whatever, but you can still have that common thread that you can discuss. Oh, what are you smoking? What are you smoking? And it really brings people together, and I enjoy that aspect of the business and events like this.
A friend of mine who is actually here today described cigars as a fellowship enhancer, and I think that is a perfect description.
I agree. I think of people that from the outside looking in, they don't get it. You know, they just think, oh, you're going to go smoke and whatever, and it's just, you don't understand that it's really about the bond and the camaraderie, and that's, you know, it's based upon one thing, which is cigar. You know, and cigars are just, you know, they're such a unique product. I mean, there's not so many things in the world that are made entirely by hand. When you plant seeds and harvest it and ferment it and cultivate it and roll, everything from one step to the next is all by hand. And it sounds like a cliche, but what else is out there that's a commodity that you buy, and it's consumable. Everything else is made by machines, and there's no romance in it. Even wine, to an extent, there's still machinery used in crushing grapes and everything. So I'm always just intrigued by the romance of the cigar. I really am, and that's what keeps me going, 16, 15 years into it. So without naming names, I would just say that some companies treat a beautiful product like premium cigars like a mass market product, and you can't. Yeah. When you do that, I think it shows in the final product that's on day one. We didn't want to fall victim to. In other words, like, we don't want to have to create a new brand every single year to say, okay, we're going to the show in July. What are we going to come out with? X, Y, Z. We really, the reason why we spend so much time in developing the company, laying the foundation, finding the right fit for a manufacturer, working on the blend, test marketing the blend, focus groups, so on and so forth, is because this brand, Four Kicks, is the foundation that we want going forward. That's still going to have legs in 3 years or 4 years or 5 years down the road. There'll probably be a couple of shape extensions to the line in 2012, but there are no plans to come up with a new line just to come out with something new.
Sure.
I want to be gainfully employed in the business, in 5 years, but I don't want to look back and see that we've got 10 different lines over the last 5 years.
Right.
So I really want to put everything into this brand going forward, and then there'll be other stuff in the future, but right now this is really my 100% focus.
Four Kicks.
Mm-hmm.
I know the name comes from a song by Kings of Leon.
Correct.
Tell us about that. How did you decide on that? Has the band? Have you contacted the band?
No, I don't know the guys at all. I'm a fan of their music. But Mike Condors met the drummer a couple of times, smoked a cigar with him here and there. But, really what it was back in 2010, I was listening to an album that they had, and I think it was Because of the Times, I'm not sure. But anyway, this one song, Four Kicks, it's really this kind of rebellious, it's about like standing up for what you believe in. It's about taking it to the yard like a cockfight. Four kicks, you strut now. It's like, okay, come on, let's go. I'm going to kick your what, and now you're down and I'll just kick you 4 times, that kind of thing. And the way I interpreted the song, it was just very angry and rebellious, and at that time I was feeling exactly those emotions. I was watching the demise of something that I'd been a part of for 15 years being literally just torn apart. People that I worked with were going to be unemployed. People that I thought I knew very well became completely the opposite of what I thought they were going to be. People really show their true colors during difficult times, and honesty and integrity and loyalty kind of went out the window, and I was just at a place where I'm like, what the hell is next, And so that song really struck a chord with me, and then I started kind of thinking forward, like, if I could do a brand, what would it be, and Four Kicks just kept coming up and coming up and coming up, and then I saw a wine was like, I think it was called a Three Graces, and I saw Four Roses bourbon, I saw this 3 and this 4, and the 4 kept coming up. And so when we left December 17th, CAO marketing was dismissed on the 17th, so last day of class. On the 21st of December, we had our first meeting about developing a new company. Mike Condor and I talked, and we had to come up with a company name, and so I was responsible for that. And then there was the idea of the first brand, and I said, well, what about Four Kicks? And here's the backstory. This is how I came up with Four Kicks, and I said maybe we can do 4 sizes, and then the thematic art that was going through my head was kind of based on gangs in New York. Mm-hmm. And so I guess I had a real violent attitude at the time. I don't know, but and so that's where it all kind of originated from.
Better to let it come out in the art than
it's like you think of how can you get. It's not like you want to be a vengeful person, but how can the best? What is it? The saying is that the best revenge is success.
Yes.
And so we're like, okay, let them take it all away. Let them do what they're going to do, and the best revenge will be if we come back and rise from the ashes and we're successful.
Right.
I mean, some of the things that I couldn't share with you the last time we talked, I mean, there were things that happened every day towards the end that you just were scratching your head like, really? I mean, I'd be sitting in my office, and all of a sudden some guy in work clothes would be coming and taking paintings off my wall and stuff. I'm like, where are you going with that? And they were literally just dismantling our building in front of us. I'm elated that everybody is interested and has supported us from the start, and I'm just excited to actually be working gainfully employed in the industry, and
absolutely.
couldn't have asked for a better guy than Ernesto. I mean, I could tell you stories just personally about what a quality guy he is, aside from the product. Just, I mean, to give you an example, I'll just give you a little behind-the-scenes story or whatever to show you the character that this man has. We were coming back from the Dominican, and we had to fly through Miami, and then Mike Condor and I flew from Miami to Nashville, and Ernesto just had to fly to Miami and get his car and all that. But there was construction going on in the airport and everything, and we were going to be late for our connecting gate, and we didn't know if we could make the flight. We just wanted to get home. So Ernie says, I know a shortcut. So, a guy at that stature could easily have said, just go down here, go there, go, whatever, and I'll call you guys on Monday or whatever. He literally, walked, a mile through the airport at least, walked us all the way as far as he could to the gate, said, guys, that's where you need to go. And he saved us probably 20 minutes, and
awesome.
We made the flight and we got home, but he went out of his way, and that, to me, it was a really small thing to him probably, but to me, it just showed me that that's the quality of man that he is. He's a great man. He's a good man.
Fantastic.
And we're just very lucky to be working with somebody like that, and his family is the same way.
Fantastic.
So we're very happy. So we're excited. Our goal was to make a product that everybody or a lot of people enjoyed, and so that's why we want to kind of put it out to you guys and get your feedback. And we were lucky that there was kind of a unanimous voice.
I think that's awesome. I'm surprised because everyone has such different palates. I'm surprised, but it shows that this one blend is really.
I thought it was very good. I'm glad that we weren't off base on that. And it was very interesting to be part of the process to see how people expressed that. Like the way you gave me your write-ups was completely different than, say, Charlie Minato or Jerry Cruz or Brian Hewitt or Walt White. Walt White, by the way, is he's like a scientist, man. I mean, I literally, each cigar came back with a 6-page document.
Oh my gosh!
It was almost like when I printed it out, it was like, should I bind this in a leather, portfolio or something? It was, man, he went into it. It was amazing.
I just tried to basically take the same review format that I normally do, but not put all the extra adverbs and adjectives in there.
You know what? I'll be honest. I'm the same way. I don't, I don't get into the. This is what it tastes like in the first third, and then I picked up this in the second third, and I picked up this in the final third. It's just, to me, it's like, did I like the cigar? Would I buy it again?
Yeah.
Did I, how did it hit my palate? And that's more of how I look at it, to be honest with you, from my personal level. But if you can taste nutmeg and cinnamon and gunmetal.
If you're tasting gunmetal, you're doing it wrong.
I'm telling you, man, it's a true story. I saw it in the Cigar Aficionado review. What is it on your palate you can smoke, or you taste? Sweet, sour, bitter, umami, and whatever else I'm leaving out.
Salty.
Or something. Salt. And that's it. That's all you can taste. So I don't understand where, it's romantic.
Well, it's the flavor. The flavors make you think of something.
I suppose so. But to me, it's a lot of, if you have to focus that hard on the cigar and just tell me, how did it hit your palate? Did you like it? Did you buy it? That kind of thing. So, but hopefully people will enjoy it when it comes out.
I think they will.
Thank you.
How many do you think you're going to make this year?
46.
46,000?
46 cigars. 45 now, actually. No, I'm kidding. No, we're actually.
I'm put my order in right
from
now.
The tobacco that Ernie already has, and that's up to his standards of having been processed and that's ready to go. We're probably looking at between 30 and 40,000 cigars for 2011.
Okay.
2012, somewhere 300,000-400,000 tops.
Okay.
But we're buying tobacco now for 2012 to get that ready.
You with your switchblade posse, I'll get my guns from side.